Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden psychology that makes the tech you use every single day feel seamless, intuitive, and sometimes, yeah, even a little bit magical.
You know that feeling, right? When you're using an app that just flies, even when you've only got like 1 bar of signal, or when a website is so smooth you don't even have to think. It's an amazing feeling, but it is definitely not an accident.
That feeling of pure speed and ease, that's the result of some really smart, carefully applied psychology. It's all about a set of principles that designers use to make things feel faster and more intuitive, often by, well, tricking your brain into perceiving speed that isn't even really there.
And today, we're going to break down 5 of the most powerful principles that use to do it. These are the secrets, the invisible architecture that makes your favorite apps and websites feel smarter, faster, and just effortless.
So let's kick things off with a big one, the Doherty Threshold. It sounds kind of technical, but the idea is actually super simple. For a user to stay completely locked in, a system has to respond in under 400 milliseconds. We're talking less than half a second. It's just fast enough that our brain literally doesn't have time to register a delay.
And once you know about it, you see this rule in action absolutely everywhere. When you open Instagram, bam, those gray placeholder boxes, what they call skeleton screens, pop up instantly. Twitter does this thing called an optimistic UI, where your tweet shows up in the timeline right away, even while it's still uploading. And you know those little typing indicators in Slack? They show up before the message even arrives. These are all just clever little illusions to make the system feel like it's always one step ahead.
So, the huge takeaway here is that perceived speed is just as critical as actual speed. As long as the app feels like it's responding instantly, we feel like we're in control. But the second it doesn't, our brain shifts into waiting mode. And that's exactly where frustration starts to creep in.
Okay, our second principle builds on this whole idea of time perception. It's called Parkinson's law. You've probably heard of it in productivity circles, right? The idea that work just expands to fill whatever time you give it. Well, it turns out the exact same thing is true for user experience.
If you give a user some long, complicated process with no clear finish line, it's going to feel like it takes forever. They'll slow down, they'll hesitate, they might even just give up completely. And this is what designers are fighting against. It's why Booking.com throws up those countdown timers to create a little urgency. It's why Airbnb hits you with that 2 people are viewing this alert. And it's why you see those step 1 of 3 progress bars on forms. All of these tricks are designed to reduce hesitation and just keep you moving forward.
So the design lesson is all about managing the user's perception of time. When you give them structure and a clear set of expectations, you stop a simple task from feeling like a total slog. Our third principle is all about one thing: avoiding overwhelm. It's called progressive disclosure. The idea is brilliant in its simplicity. Just show the essential stuff up front. All the more complex, advanced options, keep them hidden until the user actually needs them.
I mean, let's face it, our brains just are not built to process a million options at once. It just creates mental friction and makes us want to quit. Just think about writing an email in Gmail. That compose window is so clean and simple, right? All the advanced formatting options are tucked away until you decide you need them. Or look at Twitter's search bar. It's super basic until you go looking for the advanced filters. This whole approach makes you feel more competent because you can get your main task done without having to understand every single feature right from the get-go.
The goal here is to create an interface that basically teaches itself to you. It gives you just the right amount of information at exactly the right time, building your confidence as you go. And this idea of an interface that teaches itself connects directly to a huge concept in UX psychology: cognitive load theory. To put it simply, our brains have a limited amount of processing power at any given moment, kind of like a computer's RAM. And great design always respects that limit.
Now, there are a few types of cognitive load, but a designer's main job is to cut down on what's called extraneous load. You can think of this as just unnecessary mental junk. It's all the thinking you have to do because of bad design, like a cluttered layout or inconsistent navigation. The goal is to clear out all that junk to free up your mental energy for the germane load. That's the useful effort, the part that helps you actually learn and understand how the system works. Using things like white space or menus that you can collapse or consistent icons, that's how they do it. So this really changes how you think about a designer's job. It's not about cramming in more features. It's about being a guardian of the user's attention, a bodyguard for their brain. It's about crushing friction to make every single interaction feel effortless.
All right, our final principle, Fitz's law, gets right down to the raw physics of how we interact with things. The basic idea is simple. Bigger, closer buttons are faster to click. But this is where it gets really interesting.
Screen edges and corners act like infinitely large targets because you physically can't overshoot them with your mouse.
On a desktop computer, this means the absolute fastest places to put important things are right at the edges. Think about the macOS menu bar at the very top, or the classic Windows Start button in the bottom corner. You can just slam your mouse over there without even really aiming. But here's the twist. On mobile, the whole principle flips on its head. The corners are actually the hardest places to reach with your thumb. Instead, the prime real estate, the sweet spot, is at the bottom of the screen, right in that comfortable arc of your thumb zone.
So the design takeaway here is crystal clear and super actionable. Put your most important controls where they are physically fastest for the user to get to, and that place is totally different depending on the device.
So let's do a super quick recap. These 5 psychology principles are the bedrock of fast, effortless design. Number 1, respond in under 400 milliseconds. Number 2, use structure to make tasks feel shorter. 3, reveal complexity slowly, don't overwhelm. 4, protect the user's mind from cognitive overload. And 5, place your actions where they are fastest to reach.
When you combine all these laws, the effect is just so powerful. You can create interfaces that feel unbelievably responsive and intuitive. You get that magical sense of speed, even if the technology running in the background isn't actually the fastest thing on the planet.
So there you have it. You're in on the secrets. The next time you're using your favorite app, I want you to look closer. Pay attention. What invisible design choices are you going to notice now?